Hi, my name is Cassandra. I'm a dietetic intern at the North Bay Prairie Sound District Health Unit, and I'm in the process of becoming a dietitian. Today, I'll be talking about the social side of eating. By the end of this presentation, you will have learned about Canada's food guide, the benefits of eating with others, how you can eat with others more often, and how to enjoy eating when you're not able to eat with others. Starting off with Canada's food guide, it recommends making half your plate fruits and vegetables, so foods like broccoli, carrots, zucchini, apples, and berries. Making a quarter of your plate protein, foods like eggs, chicken, beans, and cheese, and a quarter of your plate grains, foods like bread, pasta, and rice, choosing whole grains more often. The food guide also suggests making water your drink of choice. Aiming for a balanced plate and eating a variety of foods within each of the food groups can help support your health and well-being. You may have already been familiar with the part of the food guide I showed on the last slide with the picture of the plate, but there is also another part to the food guide. Trying to eat balanced meals and snacks, like in the picture of the plate we just saw, is great, but eating well can be so much more than that. And sometimes it can also be hard to eat well when money is tight and food prices keep going up, or when you can't get to the grocery store as often as you'd like, such as in the winter when the roads aren't always great to drive in. So even if your plate doesn't always look like the one we saw on the last slide, there are some other things you can do to support your well-being. Being mindful of your eating habits, cooking more often, enjoying your food, and eating well with others or eating meals with others are a few other food-related things that can support your health and well-being. This page of the food guide also has a few other tips on the bottom, including using food labels to help you make informed decisions when buying foods, limiting foods high in sodium, sugar, and saturated fat, and being aware of food marketing. These are also important topics to talk about, but today we are going to focus on the 4 sections in red, specifically how they relate to the social side of eating. Some of the benefits of eating with others might seem pretty straightforward, such as getting to spend quality time with the people around you. If you live with other people, eating together can give you the chance to connect with each other, or maybe you would enjoy sharing a meal with a friend or neighbor and getting to know them better. Whoever you choose to eat with, eating with others can make meal times more enjoyable. By connecting and spending time with others, this can help reduce feelings of loneliness and depression and improve your overall mental and emotional health. Sometimes as we get older, we have less of an appetite, or medications you take might have side effects that change how foods taste or smell, or you might have more difficulty chewing or swallowing foods than you did before. And all of these kinds of things can make it less enjoyable to eat. And when that happens, it can be difficult to eat enough food and get all the nutrients you need. Eating with other people can make it more of an enjoyable experience and can help you to eat more food, which in turn helps you get more of those important nutrients to keep your body functioning at its best and prevent falls by minimizing muscle and bone loss. Another great thing about eating with other people is that it can give you the opportunity to try new foods that you may have never tried otherwise. Maybe you have a potluck lunch with a group of people from your community and someone brings a dish that you've never heard of before, and it looks interesting, so you decide to try it. It could end up being something that you love, or it could end up being something that you don't like very much, but it can still be a fun experience to try new foods. Eating with others provides an opportunity to engage in cultural or spiritual practices or traditions associated with food. This could be through sharing a favorite meal from your culture with others and explaining why that meal is meaningful to you, or trying someone else's favorite cultural meal and learning about why that meal is significant or special to them. Or this could be through partaking in various traditions or practices involving food. Not only can you include socializing during mealtimes, but you can also include others in the process of planning and preparing meals. You could even involve others in growing or harvesting your own food, such as gardening, harvesting maple syrup, ice fishing, or hunting with a friend, family member, or even your grandkid. Preparing food with others has many of the same benefits as eating with others. One benefit is connecting and enjoying quality time with people who are important to you during the process of preparing food together. Or this can be an opportunity to get to know new people, such as a neighbor or someone you meet at an event or program in your community. Cooking with others can also make the task more fun as you chat about things going on in your life, share stories with each other, and hopefully get the chance to laugh together and enjoy each other's company. Having other people cook with you can make it less daunting because you can split up tasks and share the work with others. As you prepare food with others, You might get to share different techniques or tips and tricks you've learned about cooking, growing, harvesting, or buying food, and you might even learn something new from someone else. Or maybe you have traditions or practices related to how you grow, harvest, or prepare foods. These could be from your culture or religion, or it could even be a family tradition. Growing, harvesting, or preparing foods with others could involve participating in and sharing pre-existing traditions with each other, or possibly creating new traditions together. Lastly, cooking with others can help split food costs. A lot of food sold in grocery stores come in amounts or packages designed for families, and often it's less expensive to buy foods in larger quantities. This can make it challenging to purchase food when you're only cooking for 1 or 2 people, as some foods purchased in larger amounts might spoil or pass its expiration date before you can eat everything. But if you're cooking with others and making meals for multiple people, it might be useful to buy items in larger quantities. Ultimately, preparing meals with others and eating with others offers many benefits that support your quality of life. Now that you know several benefits of preparing meals with others and eating with others, here are some ideas of how you might be able to eat with others or include others in preparing food. Often we think of gathering with other people to prepare food and eat together as something that mainly happens during special events and holidays, but this doesn't have to be the case. We can benefit from the social side of food throughout our everyday lives. It also doesn't have to be some big, meticulously planned out event with lots of people. It can be as simple as inviting one person over for a meal. This could be a family member, a friend, or even a neighbor. You could even cook a meal together. You could also make it a weekly thing, like maybe every Thursday night you have dinner with your son and his kids. Some other ideas are to swap recipes with a friend, neighbor, or family member, or organize a potluck meal where everyone brings in a different dish or different part of the meal. This can give you the chance to try new recipes and foods from other cultures. You can also share about the history or culture behind the recipe you're sharing and learn about the significance of recipes other people share. For example, you might have a meal that you often ate growing up, or maybe you have a favorite recipe from a specific holiday you celebrate. If you have some extra time on your hands or want to get more involved in your community, you could consider participating in or volunteering for events in your community. Depending on what is available in your community, this could include sharing a meal with others during a community celebration, helping prepare meals or snacks for a community celebration, participating in a community kitchen, helping organize cooking workshops or demonstrations, or helping plan, plant, or harvest a community garden. Sometimes getting to a grocery store can be challenging with high gas prices or unreliable transportation. Grocery shopping with a friend or neighbor might be a way to make this task a bit easier. You might be able to carpool to help share transportation costs, and it can make the task of grocery shopping much more enjoyable. Throughout this video, you may have thought about different ways that you have incorporated the social side of eating into your everyday life, whether that's something that you used to do in the past or something that you currently do. And these things likely have changed throughout the years, and the way you interact socially with others in situations related to food might look different now than when you were a kid, in your 30s, or even compared to a year ago. It could also look different from other people. Since the social side of eating likely looks different for everyone, it's helpful to create a goal for yourself that's tailored to you and whatever you have going on in your life at the moment. I encourage you to take some time to consider how you could incorporate the social side of eating into your life. This might include something from the list of ideas I went through on the previous slide, or maybe it's something else you thought of that wasn't on that list. Choose something that would be meaningful to you, something that you would find interesting and enjoyable. You could even write down your goal if you'd like. When setting goals, it's great to have big ideas and think about all the possibilities, but it's important to choose something that's realistic and doable. It's also helpful to set goals that are very clear and concrete to give us something specific to focus on and work towards. While you're considering what goal or goals you might want to set, I will share some examples with you. This first example says, by the end of the day, I will invite my friend to have lunch together at my house on Saturday. This goal outlines a clear plan of who I would be inviting, my friend, when I want this to happen, Saturday for lunch, and what time I want to complete this by the end of the day. This next goal is I will continue to have my grandchildren over every other Thursday to create a meal we have prepared together. Maybe as you've been reflecting, you've realized that you eat with others very frequently on a regular basis, and you're happy with how things are going and want to keep it that way. If that's the case, you could even create a goal similar to this one. Again, this one is very concrete and includes details like who they're eating with, grandchildren, when this happens every other Thursday, and what they're planning to do, cook with their grandkids, and then eat the meal together afterwards. In this example, this occurs bi-weekly, every other Thursday, instead of weekly. And I wanted to point this out because it's helpful to choose something realistic when considering a time you would like to eat or cook with others. If you live with others, it could be realistic to eat dinner every day with them. But maybe it makes more sense to eat a meal with extended family or friends once a week, bi-weekly, or even once a month, based on both your schedules and the schedule of the people you're eating with. By choosing a realistic time, it's more likely that you'll be able to follow through with your goal. This next goal is I will go grocery shopping with someone. You might have noticed that this one is much more vague. It gives a very general sense of what they intend to accomplish. It's a good start, but we can add more details to make it a better goal. So the updated goal is I will go grocery shopping with my neighbor on Wednesday. You can see how this goal is much more specific and clear. It identifies who they're going grocery shopping with, their neighbor, you could even include their name, and when they're going to get groceries on Wednesday. I also wanted to mention that it's completely okay to change your goals as you go. They aren't set in stone. Maybe you thought of a goal or two today, but later realized that you were a bit more ambitious than you thought, and it was much more challenging than you expected, or it wasn't quite as realistic. You can always adjust your goals into something more manageable. Here are a few other tips on how you can make the most of eating with others. One is to create a nice dining environment. You could set the table and have everyone eat at the table together. You could also have some music playing quietly in the background. Another tip is to minimize distractions around you. This could involve turning off the TV or putting away your phones or other electronics. This can help you be more aware of what you're eating and your food choices, but it also makes it easier to focus on the people around you who you're eating with. Use this time of sharing a meal or preparing a meal together to connect with each other, share about what's going on in your lives, and talk about common interests or things that are important to you. Lastly, take your time. Enjoy the time you get to spend with others and the food you're eating, and avoid rushing through the meal. Sometimes, even despite your best efforts, it might not be possible to eat with other people, but that doesn't mean you can't still enjoy your meal or the process of preparing it. Although it's not quite the same as having someone there in person with you, it might be an option to have a video call with someone or talk with someone on the phone while you eat together. Another idea is to create a comfortable dining environment. This was something I talked a bit about in the last slide related to making the most of your time eating with others, but it's also applicable to eating alone. This could involve setting the table for yourself, making sure there's enough light where you're eating, sitting by a window to look outside or people watch as you eat, or even sitting outside when the weather is nice. You could also put on your favorite music or listen to the radio. Mindful eating involves being aware of the food you're eating and your eating habits. It involves considering how you're eating, why you're eating, what you're eating, when you're eating, where you're eating, and how much you're eating. It also involves using your senses while you're eating to fully experience the food, and this can create a more enjoyable mealtime. Although it can be good to eat mindfully without any distractions, sometimes it can be really difficult and lonely when you're eating by yourself. Sometimes it can be helpful to do something you enjoy as you eat, such as reading, doing a puzzle, or filling out a crossword or word search. When you eat alone, it can also be difficult to cook meals just for yourself. Here are some strategies to hopefully make things a bit easier. Even though you may be only cooking for yourself, you can still cook meals with multiple portions. That way you can have some leftovers for the next few days and don't have to cook as often. If eating the same foods multiple days in a row isn't appealing to you, you can freeze the extra portions for later instead. If you're not feeling up to cooking some days, you could have multiple snacks instead. Try to aim for foods from each of the food groups if possible, such as having crackers and cheese with carrots and cucumber slices, or toast with peanut butter and an apple, or yogurt topped with granola and berries. Another option is trying out grocery delivery or meal delivery services such as Meals on Wheels. You can visit the North Bay Parry Sound District Health Unit website to find more information on the services available in your area and this is linked below in the description. That brings us to the end of this presentation. I hope you learned something new and that you found these tips helpful. And I hope that you take the chance to use some of these tips and ideas so that you can enjoy all the benefits of eating and cooking with others. For more information on the social side of eating and healthy eating in general, you can visit the Canada's Food Guide website, unlockfood.ca, or the North Bay Parry Sound District Health Unit website. Thank you for watching and listening to this presentation.